What's goody? Hey man, yesterday the Pelicans fired head coach Willie Green after just over 4 seasons, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I have very mixed feelings about this move, and honestly, I don't really like the move. But I understand it because on the one hand, I understand if you're a Pelicans fan, you just wanting to clean house, and obviously that starts with Willie Green, right? But I also think that Willie Green is the least of the Pelicans' problems. However, when it comes to sometimes I do recognize that things just need to change, right? So, like in Toronto, Masai Ujiri hadn't necessarily done anything like too idiotic necessarily. It was just that things kind of needed to change. The teams were kind of stagnant. We've seen guys like JB Bickerstaff, who wasn't a bad coach in Cleveland. It was just they needed a new voice in the locker room. Or, we see this stuff across the NBA all the time. Nick Nurse won a championship in Toronto and was a coach of the year in Toronto and got fired not too long after. Dwayne Casey was a coach of the year in Toronto, got fired. They won a championship with Nick Nurse the year after. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not about a coach being bad. It's just about you needing a different voice to take you to the next level. But with this team, I don't see that. Because with this team, I think the changes need to be made at a higher level than Willie Green and at the roster level and not necessarily with Willie Green. Because the man, first of all, has never been the biggest problem for this team, and he's like let's look at the things that have been plaguing this team. First of all, Willie Green in his just over 4 seasons there, he's never had a healthy roster, and even when he in the years where he even had a semi-healthy roster in the regular season, where he gets Zion for 40 or something games and Brandon Ingram for amount that time, or one of the two for a certain amount of time where they were playing well, they went to the playoffs. And when you go and you look at these playoff series, in the first playoff series, when it was 2022 in the first round against the Phoenix Suns, a team that the year before went to the championship, and this year was the number one seed out west, and I believe they were the number one seed by like a good margin. I think they had won like 60 something games. And this was the year that everyone thought it was going to be Warriors versus Suns in the finals. They go there and they take 2 games against Phoenix in the first round. That Suns team was thought of as one of the best in the NBA at the time, and the Pelicans still took 2 games. Mind you, Zion Williamson did not play a single minute of that series. All right, I'm back. My daughter needed me. But anyways, Zion was out the entirety of the first playoff series against Phoenix, and they still took 2 games. And then 2 years ago against the Thunder, Zion was out again, and Ingram was completely shut down against that Thunder defense. So you can't just put all of those losses, you can't just put all of this stuff on Coach Willie Green, because it simply isn't all his fault. And I would argue that most of it is literally not only not his fault, but also out of his control. Because there are times where this man has had rosters where any combination of Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, and Trey Murphy have all been hurt at the same time. And when you look at this roster right now, DeJounte Murray is out and hasn't played a game. We've got guys from this roster up and down, from top of the lineup to the bottom of the bench, that have been hurt. And that is a significant thing throughout New Orleans, throughout the entirety of this man's tenure and before that. We have gotten people over the last couple of years legitimately asking if the franchise, if the land that it was built on, if the land the arena was built on is cursed, because that's just how bad the injuries have been for this team. We had a time last year where I think like 4 of their 5 starters were all on the injury report and were all missing time. The problem with this team isn't Willie Green, and it's not him having Derek Queen come off the bench, which, I mean, he fixed towards the end before he got fired. Or it's not him not calling a timeout when a team is on a big run. It's not him bringing players in at a bad time, or taking players, or waiting too long to take players out. That's not what the problems are with this team. That's not what the biggest things are that jump out to you when you watch this team, or when you hear about this team, when you look at anything that has to do with this team. It's about the team not being built well. This team is not built well right now. It has never been built well, and most of these players are never healthy, and none of that is the fault of Willie Green, because the man didn't build this team, and he did not draft these players, pick these players, or trade for these players, or sign these players that have this propensity to be injured. He's not injuring them either, and he's not on the medical staff that's helping these guys recover, and that's helping these guys build their bodies back up in the offseason and everything like that. He's not. I think the biggest questions for me now with this firing are just, where do the Pelicans go from here? There are a few options here. You could obviously blow it up and trade everyone. You could obviously just kind of see what you have and see if there's any road for this team to still be competent, and if not, then you see what you want to do after that. But I just kind of think that even if you were to blow this team up, I personally believe that you have to make sure you don't rush it, because you have absolutely no incentive to tank this year, because you don't have that super valuable pick thanks to Joe Dumars. So there's no incentive to go trade a Zion, to go trade a Herb Jones, to go trade a Trey Murphy right now, especially because the way these guys have been playing for the majority of the season to start things out, their value is at an all-time low. So you might as well just let these guys at least attempt to play their value up, or at least just see what's going on around the trade deadline, see if there are some teams that might be desperate to overpay for a guy like Trey Murphy or a defender like Herb Jones or the potential talent that is Zion Williamson. I'm personally in the camp of just doing that, eventually tearing it down and restarting it, because this current core, I think, obviously has to go. Things aren't working out, and I think the best way to just do this is to just rebuild it completely, because once the star goes, I think those surrounding pieces of Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, I think, are valuable enough that you just trade them and you just start to build around Derek Queen, you start to build around Jeremiah Fears, and you just and Yves Messi, and see what those guys have. I think that's what you would do if you were the Pelicans. But like I said, I think you do have to slow that down, because you don't have your own pick this year, and these guys' value is low. And I just personally think that my biggest worry right now when it comes to this Pelicans team is that no matter what happens with the coach thing, I think none of it matters, because I have no faith in Joe Dumars to do his job well consistently. I have no faith in Joe Dumars to rebuild this team well and to say, okay, we are going to trade these assets, we are going to maximize them, and then on top of maximizing these assets, we are going to rebuild this team to the best team it could possibly be and to build a contender, because that is ultimately the job. And that's a tall task, but like, just given based of what we've seen just off this last offseason alone from Joe Dumars, why should I have any faith that he can do that? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching as always. Please let me know what y'all think about this firing, because it is one that is controversial, and it is one that I think deserves a lot of opinions to be around it. Thank you if you said bless you. I kind of think Willie Green was a scapegoat here, but then at the same time, if you're a Pelicans fan, if you were in the comments of this video and you were saying, yeah, maybe Willie Green wasn't the worst coach, but it was just time for a new voice, I would completely understand and empathize with that as well, and I cannot say you're wrong there as well, because sometimes you do just lose the locker room. It happens. Yeah, man, keep God first as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video around if you enjoyed it. I think that's it. Let me know what type of content y'all want to see. Let me know if y'all want to see some more creative stuff, if y'all want to see me dip back into some more 2K stuff, if y'all want to see me talk about your favorite team or a team that you haven't heard me talk about, because, you know, yeah, there's an interesting game. I think it's tonight. I'm pretty sure it's Nets versus Wizards. That's one that might get a video from me, just because, you know, it's funny. All right, peace out.